Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my podcast, the weekly podcast where we bring you the week's biggest news. Here with me is my good friend, Daniel. And we are here to break down the week's biggest news, as I just said. And we're going to start at each episode with a breakdown of the previous weekend's box office. And so this weekend, we had a very interesting weekend at the box office. Let me run down the numbers for you real quick. Tmnt, $28.5 million. Guardians of the Galaxy, $25 million. Let's Be Cops, $17.8 million. Couldn't break the $18 million mark. Expendables 3, $15.8 million in a franchise low. Terribly sad. The Giver, $12.3 million. And number 6, Into the Storm. We're mainly going to talk about the top 5 today, though. So, we had TMNT only dropped 47%, which is actually, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not totally bad. Most of the summer's movies have dropped 60% or more in their second weekend, so this is actually good that it just narrowly missed that 60% mark at 57%.
Wait, it dropped 47%, or it made 47% of its first week?
No, I'm sorry, 50. It dropped 57%.
Okay.
From the opening weekend.
Okay.
Which
yeah,
most of them
say that because it made less than half of the first week, so it dropped more than 50%.
Right. So it dropped by 57% of last weekend, which it opened at 68 million. Right. So yeah, and this weekend it made 28. Solid numbers. Narrowly missed that 60% drop that we've seen all summer. Guardians of the Galaxy, 25 million at number 2 against 3 brand new fresh movies. Awesome stuff.
Well, and not only that, but in its third week, it made just a couple million shy of what the most recent blockbuster did in its second week. So that kind of shows you the legs that it has.
Yeah, it's word of mouth is like really carrying this movie.
I can't see Turtles doing that well in its third week.
And it is on track right now to clear Thor 2's domestic gross.
Well, and also, if it keeps this trajectory up over the next couple of weeks, only I think 2 or 3 more weekends, and it'll clear for the biggest summer blockbuster of the year, passing up Transformers 4. So, for domestic box office.
Oh, okay. Yeah, internationally. Yeah. How's it going to do internationally? I don't know.
Hasn't done as well internationally as some of the others. Right. Internationally, it hasn't done quite as well. But still, overall, I mean, these guys are doing backflips over at Marvel with this property. So.
222 million Guardians of the Galaxy has made this year domestically. And it's about to pass up the Winter Soldier, which made 260 million in its theatrical run, and Guardians of the Galaxy is expected to make 280 million. So, solid 20 million over the Winter Soldier, which is crazy. I actually think that was a better movie. You can watch my review of that on my channel here. That is insane to me. That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also, number one, I think, being part of that summer blockbuster timing as far as release dates go definitely helped. Yeah, they had a good release date. It was kind
of quiet.
Yeah, the weekend it opened, even though the subsequent weekends there's been other stuff coming out.
Yeah.
It had good timing there, but also I think it actually goes to the appeal of the team-up movie. Because Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't a known property, but in the trailers, especially that first one, you introduced the lineup. This is a team-up movie, and there's appeal in the dynamic, the group dynamic, and the chemistry that they all had. Whereas, I agree with you. I think Cap 2, Winter Soldier was
overall
a better film.
Yeah,
it's definitely a better story. They told the story fantastically in that one, but it was essentially a solo film with a couple extra characters.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that it has. There's a certain amount of appeal to that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, Captain America was still in line with like Marvel's strategy of doing the solo film,
right?
Like their other solo films are.
Yeah.
But what just blows my mind is that arguably the biggest name that we've got in here is Zoe Saldana, because she's coming off Star Trek 2.
Sure.
1 and 2. So she's the most recognizable character, and she's covered in green paint.
Well, she was in Avatar. You couldn't see her face there either.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, she's coming off a movie where you can see her. You know who she is. And now she's in this movie that you can't see. And everybody else is either a CGI character, or covered in paint. You got Chris Pratt, but I mean he's coming off of a TV show, which it's a popular TV show. He does it is
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it's watched a lot. But he's not like a huge box office draw. No. None of these people are box office draws.
You know who's actually the biggest name?
And they have absolutely zero brand recognition other than the fact that the Marvel badge is on it, which I think that is the biggest element of its success. But even still, like Thor 2 and Captain America, they had the Marvel badge on there too.
Yeah.
And they were recognizable characters.
Sure.
And they had established actors that everybody knew.
Well, this one just had that recipe. But actually, Zoe Saldana is not the biggest name. The biggest name is the guy who didn't do any press for this movie, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bradley Cooper was the raccoon. A lot of people that saw the movie didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah, and he didn't do any promotion for the movie. Vin Diesel was probably the most recognizable person.
And he did a lot of press for it.
Yeah, he did a lot of press for it, and...
Including a lot he did himself.
Yeah, but he wasn't...
But you don't see his face.
Yeah, his name is in the trailer for like a second, and that's not going to... Vin Diesel's name is not going to bring anyone into the theater, really, you know what I'm saying?
Not $200 million worth. No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, what magic potions did they pour into this movie to... I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Now...
Just had that right mix.
One thing I heard that someone mentioned, like at the beginning of summer, I heard someone mention this, that like they said by the time Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, there will be a lot of Star Wars movie rumors and news flying around, and that maybe Guardians of the Galaxy will be able to capitalize on like that buzz for a space movie. I don't know if I'm just trying to think because I just don't know what is contributing to its success so much. I just don't know.
Funny story, my dad actually called me today asking, he wanted to take someone to a movie. This is a man who is in his early 60s, doesn't go to the movies. If he goes more than once a year, I would be surprised. Like, honestly, he's not a movie-going kind of guy. But for whatever reason, he wanted to take someone to the movie, and he was asking me what's out, and I went down the lineup, and I told him, based on things he's interested in and what I thought he might enjoy, I recommended Guardians of the Galaxy, and I downplayed the fact that it's a comic book film, because I know that's not something that's going to grab his appeal, but I told him...
You compared it to Star Wars?
It's got a very Star Wars-y feel to it, because I know he liked Star Wars when he was younger. And that's something that, especially with the soundtrack, this is something that has appeal across a broad age range.
I see. Yeah, they're playing on that Star Wars feel, and then they got that music from the eras,
nostalgia and everything.
From the era that movie came from. Oh my gosh, that just might be the secret ingredient.
Hey, and on any movie, a soundtrack makes a difference, so.
I think so. Yeah. Well, man, this soundtrack
is good.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
it's available on iTunes. Actually,
if you like that, and I think somebody was saying the other day that it's like in the top 3. It might even be number 1. But movie soundtrack, it's doing phenomenally as a movie soundtrack. People buying it on iTunes.
Yeah, I know. "Hooked on a Feeling" was like the number 3 most downloaded song on iTunes.
And that's not a new song at all. It's been out a while.
Yeah, I'm sure all the kids are listening to it. They've just stayed hot. Okay. Let's Be Cops, 17 million.
Not bad.
That's it's
for the kind of comedy it was.
Yeah, it's kind of lukewarm. I haven't seen this movie myself. It didn't look very funny, but it looks like it may be a good rental or something. I don't know.
I mean, when's the last time a comedy had a huge box office opening? Most of your comedies these days, if you can get above 20, you're doing great.
Yeah.
For opening weekend, and they're lower budget.
Yeah, all under. I think Neighbors opened at like 36.
Right.
Neighbors.
But in that, you've got some big names. I mean, what big recognizable names do you have?
You got some of the big names of comedy in a movie, and you're pulling in $30-some million. That's not.
So I think for what they made the movie for and what they targeted, I think they probably got about where they wanted to be.
Yeah, the premise is actually really funny if you just think about it. Like, two guys pretending to be cops after. It sounds really funny. I don't know why this trailer. I don't know why it didn't appeal to me, but I'll probably rent it later when it comes out. There's this website called VidAngel where it lists all the explicit content and you can choose what to take out.
Really?
Yeah.
I know there's a few DVD services that do that. I didn't realize
this
that.
is a strictly streaming service. It's
Streaming,
pretty
okay.
cool. My brother's
Might
used
check
it,
it out.
and he said it's pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
I don't
For
know.
a lot of people, such as ourselves, who, the...
I don't like a
sitting
whole
in
lot of cursing or...
And the drug use and
drug
everything.
use, sexual-
not
I just
quite
don't-
as entertaining.
It's not. It's just
For-
like, it's jokes are just played out.
Yeah. But it's one of those, I think, not the most original premise. I mean, it's a couple of knuckleheads who have kind of a not non-advisable idea, and they just see how far they can take it, and hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
So.
And man, the most disappointing news of this. Expendables 3, $15 million. This stinks, man.
Not on the right trajectory, that series.
This is just go ahead and sealing off that coffin, man. This is like sitting in the tombstone right now.
What does this mean for Expendables?
Man, I don't know. Like, it doesn't sound like that movie is actually like anywhere near pre-production. It sounds like it's just in Sylvester Stallone's mind right now.
I know they had talked to a few female stars about doing it, but at this point, I would be very surprised if anyone greenlit it. The only reason they would, that it would even be close to a good idea to greenlight the movie at this point is, and sorry feminists, I'm not picking on anyone here, but by getting an all-female cast or female main cast, they get them at a much lower price and can produce the movie for a much lower cost.
Oh, man.
Because there's no way you're going to reasonably expect to have something like that's essentially a knockoff of a main idea that's trending downward with each sequel.
Yeah.
Can they expect to have more than a $15 million opening weekend? I doubt it.
I hear a lot of people talk about like a large percentage of the women of like action movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy was like almost 50% women, and the female.
Talking about tickets?
Yeah.
Ticket sales, yeah.
Yeah, ticket sales, like the female audience is increasing for action movies and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know if female audiences are ready to get, like if female audiences will go out and watch females. I just don't know if like
just because it's a female lead,
I don't know.
More will go.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I'm sure it probably depends on the movie. Probably
and
depends on the
also,
movie.
would there be any sort of drop off in the male ticket purchases?
Yeah.
They're not as interested.
The premise of an Expendables sounds kind of ridiculous.
Well,
Like, why don't they make Expendables 4 and just like have Barney like have to have an all female or mostly female? Like, I don't see why they need a separate franchise.
Yeah, and the problem is the same as what I think the problem is on this one, which is they added the young crew to it, who may be fun to watch in excuse me, your average action flick, but what makes Expendables fun and cool is that you've got this collection of nostalgic guys that you watched in the 80s and 90s in their action films. You don't have that attachment with these guys, so you're relying on their great acting chops, which they don't necessarily have. If you throw an all-women's cast in there, how many female action stars from the 80s and 90s can you think of?
Well, I think they would probably think outside they'd probably redefine what female action star means and just get like maybe like older female actresses to be in there and have them be
who've been in action films but not action
maybe
roles.
Been in action movies or just maybe had a few hits back in the day.
Well, like what's her name? Linda Hamilton,
maybe Leah Thompson or something. I think she's still acting.
Yeah.
From that movie, from Back to the Future.
Oh.
the mom of Back to the Future. I don't know. I'm just.
She's an action star. That's what I'm saying. They would kind of think outside the box. They would expand their pool into Linda
non-action
Hamilton's
stuff.
at least the action. She was an action figure.
Yeah, but I just don't see why you can't just bring those into the Expendables franchise, or just work them into there. It seems like I don't see why you need to split up the franchise like that. It seems like they would work together great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Anyway, yeah, Expendables 3. This has been on a downward slope. This is the lowest opening weekend yet. The first one made like about 34 million opening weekend.
Like
Second one made 28, which actually probably would have opened on par, but that was coming off the shootings, theater shooting, just like a weekend or two, beforehand. Yeah. So that affected all the movies coming out after that. So
especially a violent, action one. So
yeah. So it probably would have opened on par with the first one, but this is like almost half of that, at 17. So we're probably looking at no more Expendables movies for a while.
Yeah, unless they do a straight to DVD version or something like that. So that's
man, nobody's gonna. No, none of these actors are gonna do a straight to DVD movie. Maybe Chuck Norris and
Chuck Norris might.
Maybe Jet Li or somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else is gonna want to do that.
We'll see what else Stallone has.
And then The Giver. Oh, you can see my review of Expendables right here too. The Giver, 12 million. I hadn't seen a lot of marketing for this movie at all. I don't think they had a lot of faith in it. It looked interesting. I love the book. I read the book in school and I loved it. So I don't know.
Well, the book I think was I think what they were counting on, the massive popularity of the book. Even in one of the little promo spots where they had Meryl Streep talking about how her kids and grandkids loved the book, and that's how they watch it. Same thing with Jeff Bridges, talking about that's how he was introduced to it. Yeah. But
it's an old book.
And
it's associated with school too, because a lot of kids have to read it in school. So.
And not only that, but it's not getting the greatest reviews. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I would like to see it.
Yeah.
But it's not getting the strongest of reviews, and I think they just dropped the ball on the marketing. They've got some big names in it. It's marketing to that young adult crowd.
Yeah.
But
I heard the kid, the main actor, is like really talented. But the thing is, I feel like the pitch for this movie went like, hey, we got this book. It's a young adult novel. Do it. Do it now. Take this money now. Yeah. But apparently Jeff Bridges has been trying to make this for years. And I think, I guess Hunger Games and Divergent and everyone's... There's been a half a dozen Twilight, wannabes, trying to capitalize on that success. Yeah. And really only Hunger Games is up there with it. Divergent, maybe that'll be the next one, but I don't know. There's so many. Vampire Academy, Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. They just couldn't. I'm sure there's a bunch more, but they just couldn't get it.
We'll see how The Maze does. That's coming out.
The Maze Runner, that movie, The Host, another young adult novel trying to be.
I could not get through without phones.
I didn't see it. It didn't look interesting to me at all. So.
It's so boring. Oh my gosh.
That's what I heard. So. Overall, great news for Tmnt and Guardians. Bad news for if you were opening this weekend.
Yeah.
Lots of sad Facebook posts on that for those actors. All right, now let's move into the news. And this week we had some pretty interesting news. This week, top story for us at least is Loki himself, Tom Hiddleston, is being considered for the role of Ben-Hur in the remake of Ben-Hur, which I have never seen, but it's at the top of my list. It is now on the top of my watch list.
What?
Top of my watch list.
You've never seen Ben-Hur?
I've never seen Ben-Hur. I have trouble watching movies.
Have you seen Star Wars?
I have.
Have you seen the Ten Commandments? Have you seen The Godfather?
I have seen the Ten Commandments. I have seen The Godfather. I have trouble with movies pre-1998. I don't know why.
I thought you were going to say like 1970 or 1998. That was 16 years ago.
1980.
I thought you said 98.
No, 1980. Pre-1980.
It sounded like you said 1998. Let's check the film.
All right, well, we'll check the replay on that. But anyway, I don't know why. I have seen the Ten Commandments, though, because I rented that from the library a long time ago.
The library.
Hey, fun fact. My public library has a Redbox-esque machine that you stick your library card into, and it dispenses DVDs to you.
Nice.
For free. And they actually get new releases. Like, they go out and buy, when a DVD comes out, they go out and buy it.
Public funding.
And hey, man, if my tax dollars are going to that, I'm a happy man. That's great. That's great news. But anyway, okay, so back to Ben-Hur. I haven't seen Ben-Hur. It's on the top of my watch list. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What would how describe the movie to us?
Huge classic. I mean, it's very much that Spartacus-esque. Spartacus-esque kind of old-style biblical epic type film. You know, good guy triumphing over evil. All the classic Hollywood
tropes.
Cliches. But in a time when that was the style to make a film. You know, it wasn't over the top. It was just right for that time.
Exactly
and
what they wanted.
It won. It holds several records for
It's one of 3 movies to get nominated for 11 Oscars. The other 2 are Avatar, I think, and Lord of the Rings 3, I believe. Or no, Titanic. Sorry,
yeah,
Titanic.
I was gonna say Titanic.
Titanic and Lord of the Rings 3.
But it's one of those. It's so epic in the scale of the film, but also in its accomplishments, that it's one of those you gotta. I would buy a ticket to see this movie. Simply to say with my dollars, bravo for having the testicular fortitude to actually tackle this kind of project, because this is like one of those. How do you top this? How do you even step onto the same stage as the guys that made this? And so it's very ambitious. Bravo for them for trying to do it. I think, was it 50-something years or whatever since it came out? It's long enough,
goodness.
you know.
60s? In the 60s?
Enough time has passed. I think it was in the 60s.
That's,
But anyway, it might have been 50s, but I have to look that up. But yeah, a classic film, great story. And Tom Hiddleston is, I think, a fantastic actor. Most people know him as Loki, which...
That's all I know him as.
He's had a few roles. I mean, he's a British actor, so he's been in some British television shows and things like that, yeah.
But can you name me anything else that you've seen him in?
No, I mean, he's done the voicing in a couple things. He was in that last Muppets movie.
He was in it, or he voiced it?
I think I'm pretty sure he was in it. He had a small part.
Okay.
If I remember,
I have not seen
sure
anything else that guy's done. I should probably do that, though. I should probably look that up.
Yeah, I mean, he there's not too many. I mean, you mentioned before we started the Guillermo del Toro one, right?
Yeah, Crimson Peak. It's a fantasy horror romance. Basically it's a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Yeah, it's Guillermo del Toro. There's going to be some dark elements to it. But he's also playing Hank Williams Sr. in I Saw the Light.
Is that confirmed? Like, he's definitely doing that?
Yeah, they're in, I think, pre-production on that right now.
Okay.
So that he's going to be playing... he's not going to be all maked up with horns on his head and all this kind of stuff.
Will he be British, though?
He will not be British. Hank Williams was not British, so we'll see how good he is at a country accent.
Yet another American character outsourced overseas. All our work.
Taking our American jobs. Yeah.
All our work, man. Those British, man.
But no, I think he's a fantastic actor. I think what we saw him, even for those who have only seen him as Loki.
Can he make the transition to a good guy?
Yeah, because let's be honest, he plays a villain.
That's likable.
That is likable, which is tough to do, So, I mean, likable, there's been people asking for a Loki standalone film.
Yeah,
which, I don't think that would be a great idea either, but it just goes to show how, endeared with the audience he is.
No Marvel movies are standalone movies now.
Yeah. Well,
there's too many characters.
Which you hate. Subsequently, you think they should all be Avengers.
I don't hate. No. I don't hate that they're.
Where's Iron Man? Where's the Hulk?
I'm just saying it would be nice to give them a mention as to like what they're doing or why they can't come or something like that. But I've accepted the fact that they're just going to ignore that. But anyway, back on topic.
Tony Stark needs to get his eyebrows waxed. He's busy. Okay.
Oh yeah, and Captain America, I'm sure, has got to polish his shield while the president of the United States has been kidnapped But anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, so I don't know. I've never seen him in any other role than Loki, so I don't know if he can like pull off this good guy kind of like underdog good guy. But I'm sure he can. He seems like he's got quite a bit of range. So it's gonna look. I think. Well, we'll see.
He can do. We know he can do the voice acting and everything. That's not a problem. The main thing is, he's a fairly thin-framed guy, which I think makes him a good fit for Hank Williams Sr. because he has that look to him.
Yeah, but Charlton Heston's got some meat on him.
He did, but actually, if you go back and look at Ben-Hur, he wasn't bulky.
He wasn't massive, but he wasn't Tom Hiddleston thin though.
He was fit. He was toned and everything. I'm sure he's been shaping up. It's not like he doesn't do any kind of training for the as far
Loki
as
parts?
for those. There's a bit of acrobatic elements to that. He just probably steps up a little bit.
Acrobatic. He does magic. He works out his
He
fingers.
jumps around and makes some tumbles and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, anyway,
he's not flying or whatever, but
I personally don't have a problem with like an actor's size or whatever. Like Gal Gadot, like everyone was saying, she's way too thin to be Wonder Woman. It's a superhero. She's got superpowers.
Her talent is a little thin.
Forget it. Yeah, it's like that's what you should be concerned about, their acting ability. So I think a good actor can make himself seem bigger than he actually is. So with his presence.
Yes, but also be honest,
presence.
if the Chris Evans role for Captain America was Tom Hiddleston's frame, that wouldn't be believable.
That's true.
There is a point where you got to be, but in this one, it's not. His physicality isn't.
It's not like the driving force or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
it's
not like his defining
size
characteristic.
It's the size of the fighting the dog in this case.
Yeah.
So
okay. Next order of business. Vin Diesel has been. He's on Twitter again.
Facebook. It was a Facebook.
Oh! Yeah. He's changing it up on us. He's on Facebook
Everyone's
yet again.
favorite self-promoter.
Yet again, teasing us and not pleasing us, as per the usual. And I quote: "This is his exact quote. It seems Marvel thinks I'm a bit Doctor Strange, maybe Inhuman. #Free Wakanda."
That's not what he said.
Okay, that's not what he said. Okay, he did say that.
You're reading out all wrong.
Okay, I was just trying to get in as many. I was trying to tease even more than he teased with Doctor Strange.
Such a tease.
But anyway, yeah. So he's basically going to be in Inhumans.
Yeah.
Maybe. We don't know. Like, a year ago, he took a picture with a poster of Ant-Man behind him.
Well, he did one with the Vision too, right?
Oh yeah, Vision. Yeah, sorry, Vision. Yeah, that was like the first one. And then...
He didn't say anything in that one. He just pointed at it.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay, he didn't say anything.
So he was saying something without saying something.
I'll let that one slide. Then he did it again, I believe, with some other character, and now he's at
the second one I think was like Ant-Man maybe. But yeah, he's teased with several of these Marvel properties.
And so this is the least subtle and most blatant reference to a character.
For anyone that knows, the character the term Inhumans and recognizes it as a comic book property.
Yeah. And even if you don't, I'm sure every movie website will fill you in on what an Inhuman is. But basically, Inhumans are like they're sort of like X-Men in that they have like kind of mutant powers, except they're called Inhumans. So Marvel can legally and contractually have them this mutant-like people without actually having to call them mutants.
Yeah.
Because if they did, I'm pretty sure Fox...
Well, they're not part of that story arc, basically.
Yeah. So they're like these cosmic alien race that very similar to mutants. They grow up, they develop powers after being exposed to this mist when they come of age, like around adolescent years, and they all have different powers. Anyway, there's a team. The head of this team is called Black Bolt, and everyone's thinking that Vin Diesel's probably going to play Black Bolt. Now, the thing about...
It's racist.
I'm sorry, not Black Bolt, Black Adam. Excuse me. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now.
I was like, Black Bolt. I haven't heard this.
Black Adam.
I think they're all alike, don't you?
Yes, those superheroes. Now, the thing about him is his powers don't allow him to speak. So, that would be the most ironic twist ever in that he plays Groot.
Who all he does is speak.
He can only say 3 words. And then if he played Black Bolt,
Black Adam.
God. He would yet again be playing another speech-impaired superhero, which would be hilarious. And also, I think a little bit pointless. Well, I don't know. He's
getting his speaking done now by always running his mouth about his potential roles.
Yeah.
Because he knows once he gets them, the valve is shut off.
I've never read an Inhumans comic. I've never even seen them in a comic before that I've read. So I have no idea how he communicates with people. I have absolutely zero idea.
I think some sort of telepathy or something. Yeah.
I would think so. But even so, in a movie, how are you going to have Vin Diesel as the star that doesn't speak? I don't think audiences are going to buy Vin Diesel not speaking. Unless they just change up the character, which I think they actually could, because Inhumans, they're not the most popular comic book character, and I don't think they're
take some liberties.
They take some liberties. I would venture to say they're less popular than Guardians of the Galaxy, in both arenas, comic book or just popular culture,
or at least as unwell known.
This is like the C team. If Guardians of the Galaxy is the B team, this is like the C or maybe even D team right now.
But that's kind of the cool thing about the weight of
Marvel's powers.
Yeah, I mean it's the gravitas that the name Marvel brings to a property now is
Disney.
It doesn't really matter if they're well known. I guarantee you 95% of the people or more that went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy have never read a Guardians of the Galaxy comic, and they have no idea what Rocket Raccoon is or where he's from or his backstory or anything, and they loved it. So, could you take a fantastic thespian like a Vin Diesel and have him reach into the depths of his immense talent and say, without words,
we need you to
give
convey
us
some emotions.
Black Adam? Could they do that?
I say yes.
Yeah, I think they could. Again, it's going to come down to the script and how the direction they take with the character, and of course, who else is going to be in there, because it's not just going to be a solo.
I think everybody else is going to be. If he is Black Adam, I think the other characters will be like a lot lesser known actors.
And even with Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot again said 3 words, and even that he only spoke 10, 12 times. He didn't speak frequently.
Yeah.
But the action and the way the character moved and what he did.
He wasn't the lead or even like a main character.
He wasn't, but he was always present.
True.
He was enjoyable to watch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There were several key moments where he grins or does something and you're just like, that's awesome.
If he does speak with telepathy, like they could have like you be able to hear his thoughts and
like a subliminal voice kind of thing.
He just like put some reverberation on his voice, and he never actually opens his mouth.
That Vin Diesel vibrato.
That might actually help his acting. I don't know. That might help his performance. I don't know. If he doesn't have to say anything, he doesn't have to deliver any lines like on camera. But here's
a compliment, Vin. We love you. Okay.
Fun fact: Vin Diesel is a classically trained actor, and he started out in theater, on stage performances. Which is crazy to think about, because that's not his persona anymore.
Well, he can certainly project to the back row. He's got that voice, but that's.
But here's a potential hurdle that I'm imagining. Like they're like cosmic superheroes. They're in space a lot. So, is this going to be another like space adventure? Space adventure time? I don't know.
Or is it going to be like a Green Lantern, where they try to bring it? It has spatial elements, but then they bring it back down to Earth.
Yeah, sort of like a 40-60 type of a deal. Like not like Guardians, where it's all in space.
But that's what they did with Thor. Thor is essentially in another realm. It's essentially out in space, but then they brought it down to Earth with a little town and all that.
Are the 9 realms different dimensions, or are they just different parts of space? I never got that. Who knows?
I don't think that's important.
But anyway, all I'm saying is like you might have this Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it now that Guardians of the Galaxy's out there, and stuff.
Yeah.
So, who knows where this is going, or if Vin Diesel is even going to be in it.
Well, and the other thing
we don't
is,
even know that. He actually took that post down. It's not on his Facebook anymore.
Right, and assuming that he's in the role and assuming they're actually going to make the film, the one thing we can almost certainly count on with Marvel is that as long as it succeeds, and it probably will, because they don't really make many things that don't succeed,
No.
it's going to tie into the rest of their Marvel Cinematic Universe at some point. So it's going to have that Marvel feel to it.
Yeah.
Which is what audiences say we want more of.
Yeah, I guess
we
so.
like it.
I guess so, dude. They want that. They want those aerial battles at the end of every movie.
Yeah.
Ever notice that? Think about that.
And more post-credit scenes. In fact, they should start doing movies with just post-credit scenes. Opening credit, close credit, more scenes, more teases. What movie's coming next?
Just roll the credits right at the
hour and a
beginning.
half of post-credit scenes.
Oh, best post-credit scene ever.
Interspersed with, long ending paragraphs full of people that you've never heard of doing the jobs that you didn't know existed.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay, number 3 on our list, Aquaman. Aquaman, what's happening with Aquaman?
Jason Momoa is almost certainly going to be in this role. The studio teased that it was in talks, which is essentially meaning that they've offered him something and everything looks good and they're just kind of hashing out the details at this point.
Got a sign.
Several little teases from both parties. He's almost certainly going to be in the role. Aquaman is the suspected role that they're going to be casting him in.
We don't even know that yet.
Probably a small part in Batman v Superman, and then a much obviously larger role in the Justice League to follow. But now there's a rumor spread around that they're going to do a standalone. This comes on the heels of the announcement from the week before of the DC lineup, per se. A bunch of untitled, unnamed release dates. Basically,
Untitled DC Project number 4 is what I'm most excited about.
Yeah. Basically, DC said, okay, you guys have been giving us a hard time about how Marvel and all their camp have this whole plan out to 2075 or whatever it is.
Why can't you be like Marvel?
And us little guys over here at DC, we made Man of Steel. Everybody liked that one. Well, not some yahoos, but most everyone liked that one.
I wasn't so hot about it.
600-something million, anyway. What movie have you made?
Oh, yeah. The more people that go to see it, the better it is.
That's neither here nor there. It was a fantastic movie. But by and large, well-reviewed, well-liked film.
Mixed
Very
reviews.
well-received. Okay, especially coming off of...
reception was mixed.
Of the Brandon Routh one. Okay, it was much better than that.
Critics actually liked that movie better.
Critics are stupid. Anyway.
Mixed reviews.
We're getting off topic.
We're getting a little off topic.
The point is, so they basically came out and said, okay, fine, we do in fact have a game plan.
We have a plan.
We do have more properties that we're working on.
We're not totally
cooking.
committed to it yet, though, because we're not going to release any titles because we don't want you to hold us to the movies that are coming out.
And we have a habit of changing release dates even after we've confirmed a release date. But
if they don't, I'm sure they have they probably got a solid idea of what movies they want to come out on those days. But they're probably not too sure that what talent they want to get because
it's not like they're all cast.
Yeah. As well. I mean, I'm talking about behind the camera too, like writers, directors.
Sure, yeah.
That producers, they probably haven't got that all lined up for those movies.
Well, it's
either.
not like they have all their schedules figured out to 2018 or whatever. So
yeah. But what I'm saying is, you've got these untitled movies, and they also said that they're doing other DC properties that aren't going to be in the same universe, like Sandman.
I actually like that.
And then I like that idea too because I think that makes for a better movie. In general.
Because they're not handcuffing themselves to that storyline.
Right. So you can have a lot of different feels, because right now, all Marvel movies have a very similar feel. They're all fun. They're fun and they're fairly fast paced, and they're a good time. Okay, like Marvel's not going to make a Dark Knight, that's for sure, or a Dark Knight Rises or anything like that, And Man of Steel is more actually in that vein.
It's DC.
Man of Steel felt a lot like that, yeah. So so having these, but all I'm saying is this. We don't even know if these are going to be Man of Steel, in the DC cinematic universe that Man of Steel is in. We don't even know if these titles are
Right.
part of
So
that.
some of them undoubtedly will be in a
Like
separate
they're-
cinematic universe.
yeah,
Aquaman,
standalone.
being a member of the Justice League, of course, will be in that. And they're doing sort of the reverse Marvel. They're going to say, okay, here's our big team up, and then the ones that are received well and have a
We'll
key
spin
role
off,
and everything, they're going to get their own separate movies. So.
Well, they have a date for 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah. So, plenty of time. Obviously, Momoa's going to have other projects and things going on in the meantime. I know they're getting close to wrapping up shooting on Batman v Superman. I'm sure if he hasn't done his part for that in that film, it probably won't take him more than a day or two, because it's almost certainly going to be a very small role in that film.
Yeah. We also don't we don't know how big Wonder Woman's role is either.
Yeah,
we don't really know how big
she might
anybody's
not
role is
be
going to be.
very big. Oh, the only thing we know for certain is Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill are going to be in most of the film.
Yeah. Batman, I guess now is the title character. Can you say that? Since it's Batman v Superman?
Yeah, they're both the title characters.
They're both the title characters?
Yeah, so.
Man, Callie, all the stuff that's come out has made me forget how worried I am about this movie. Because
worry over here. It's going to be phenomenal. This is going to be an awesome film.
Zack Snyder, man. Dude. Although, when Ben Affleck signed on, he brought his Argo writer, his old buddy Chris Terrio from Argo. Argo was great. Chris Terrio is supposed to be doing a treatment on the script.
Yeah, Zack Snyder isn't the writer on this film. He's like I heard someone the other day say, he is a fantastic visual storyteller. He makes a good visual film.
Oh gosh, yes.
And for comic book fans, the visuals is a key part of it. I mean, remember when the first X-Men came out? And everybody's all up in arms about, oh my gosh, they changed the uniforms, and oh, this looks different. The visuals is very important.
Bryan Singer likes his leather, man.
Well, and it goes back to that style. We were talking about the style and feel of Marvel. The DC Cinematic Universe is going to have a look and feel to it that is different than Marvel, but similar in the sense that there's going to be a continuity. We've seen the pictures teased of the one I have on my phone.
It all looks great. It all looks great, but is it gonna deliver on the story like I want it to? Is it gonna give me those tingles like the Dark Knight did?
The tingles?
Yeah, is it gonna give me my spine tingles? That's what I want, okay? That's what I need. Spine tingles. I didn't get that from Man of Steel, okay? My back was totally silent. But I want those spine tingles down my spine. For Man of Steel. I mean, you cannot mess up Batman.
I had goosebumps watching Man of Steel. I absolutely loved it. I thought it had a great balance between tugging at the heartstrings, telling an exciting story, and giving everyone the firm foundation of knowledge of saying, this is where this Superman in this storyline is from, this is what he's been through, this is what makes him who he is, so that going forward, because we're going to be with this guy for a while, this is Cowell, this is Clark Kent.
I think it was good enough to spin off the other movies, okay?
Yeah.
It was adequate on that level.
But
now, DC has an untitled project this 2016.
Coming after the release of...
that
one, a lot of people are saying it's going to be
5th,
the Wonder Woman.
That would be incredible if they could push out 2 movies in that same year.
That first year,
Because
that would be pretty crazy.
Hopefully the reception is, as long as the reception is just okay, then their next movie is going to do just fine. So we'll see about that. Now, they got a movie. We got 2 for 2017. Actually, we got 2 every subsequent year. 2017 to 2020, they've got 2 DC films coming out each year. So those are probably not going to be in the same universe, but hopefully one of those 2017 movies is Aquaman or...
Yeah, there will be almost certainly a Flash in there.
It was rumored that there's going to be a Flash Green Lantern team up or something like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they show up in one of the other solo movies or a Justice League movie before they go off on their own little adventure with just in pairs. But anyway, lots of stuff happening there. A lot of stuff happening there.
Yeah.
We need to move on now to our number 4 topic. Godzilla 2 has got a release date.
Confirmed.
And Who's back? Gareth Edwards is back.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Ken Watanabe is back.
Oh, he's back too. He's confirmed to be
He's
back.
fantastic, yeah.
I hope he has more to do in this movie than he did in the last movie.
Let them fight.
That was his biggest. That was the biggest reason that he was in that movie.
He was the exposition master. Expositionator. Yeah.
He didn't have much to do. He was supposed to be the expert, which was really like a few minutes of exposition, and then from that moment on,
he was kind of in the way. Almost.
He was relegated to watch.
Yeah, the military guys are like, we'll talk to you when we can't think of what else to do.
Yeah, and I love that in military movies, you've got bullets, and then if that doesn't work, nukes. Those are the only two options you have, man.
Well,
there's nothing in between those two.
Talking doesn't work.
Yeah, you got diplomacy, then you got bullets. And then if those don't work, then you got nukes. Okay, that's the next step.
How much U.S. blood and treasure do you want to waste? Let's just get to the.
Let's just get to the gold, man. Get to that center nougat.
Well,
of nukes.
The nougat.
That nuclear.
But they, that one they at least had some sort of very thin reasoning for it, which is they were attracted to the radiation, and that's why.
Yeah, so what was our plan again? They were going to lure them to the...
Yeah, they were going to haul them out with, spoiler, by the way.
Big spoilers.
For those who haven't seen it
If you haven't seen Godzilla yet.
But, yeah, so basically
they were going to haul them out, and then
they're going to be attracted to the radiation of
and
the
then
nuke.
They're going to blow it up.
And then, with the blast, kill them.
Okay. Well,
don't know if it would work, but
either way. I hope they have some a little bit stronger human characters.
Really?
Yeah, stronger.
I would say just do away with human characters.
I would say
have like 5 minutes of human acting. Creatures fighting the rest of the time.
You know what would be awesome is if Bryan Cranston didn't die and he's alive, and he's
he's Godzilla too.
he's in a coma in Japan somewhere, and.
In a body bag, he wakes up.
Jesse. Anyway, yeah. So he's what's the date? 2017.
You don't have the date right now.
Okay, this is an edit. This is an edit right now.
Oh,
this isn't gonna be in there.
My throat's killing me.
Mine too, man. I was screaming so much even when I.
Well, I called into work today and Saturday because I lost my voice. This is the most talking I've done in days. Okay, so, my voice actually really hurts, so we need to start getting through this more quickly, because I'm not going to be able to last much longer.
Godzilla 2.
We're taking away too long.
What?
Why do you always pick out 12 subjects?
There's 9. There's 9.
Yeah, plus the box office.
That's 10.
We need to narrow it down to 5 max.
It's
okay,
10,
come on.
It's 10 subjects, dude.
I said 12. I said 12.
Godzilla 2. 2018, 18. Dude, my throat is stinging me right now. I feel like there's a wasp in there just continually stinging me.
Where?
103 international opening. Okay, that's where you go. Godzilla 2.
Okay,
June 8,
come on.
20. Okay, Godzilla 2 is opening June 8th, 2018. That's pretty far off, so that's subject to change, but that's what they've said. So they're giving Gareth Edwards a pretty wide berth to direct that spin-off Star Wars movie, which I'm pretty excited about. Who knows what that is? Rian Johnson of Looper, he directed Looper. You should probably watch that if you haven't seen that. It's pretty awesome. Is also directing a standalone movie for them as well. So, or is he directing a sequel or a stand? I think it's a spin-off. I think it's a spin-off, not the sequel.
I think so.
But anyway, Gareth Edwards, he's directing a spin-off of Star Wars, and then I guess they liked.
They're holding out for them.
They liked
instead of getting somebody else.
They want him so bad that they're gonna wait 4 years for Godzilla to
push it off.
And I guess Godzilla. I guess they figured Godzilla was such a big hit, and they're always gonna have that name recognition there. So 4 years. 4 years, they're just like, let's do it. Let's wait him out. Let's wait for Gareth Edwards. So that's pretty cool. Warner Brothers is really loyal to their directors. I mean, they like Ben Affleck a lot, apparently.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, they gave him 3 movies, and then he won him an Oscar for the 3rd one. So they like Ben Affleck. And apparently they like Gareth Edwards because they're given a pretty wide berth to do this. So I don't know. What do you think? Pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah, it's alright. No, it's yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that they're obviously very pleased with the job that those writers and directors are doing, and they're saying, you know what, based on the open slots of when we could release this movie, if we started going into getting a script together and everything within the next month and go into production and film it, and let's say in early spring, maybe get it out in 2016, we could do this, but this guy wouldn't be available, this guy wouldn't be available, we'd have to get new people, who's available, when can we release it, based on all the things they've seen, their best bet, their best chance to make a good Godzilla 2, a good sequel, a good film, is to wait until these guys are available, have them do it, give them another quality product, and enough time will have passed. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. People will be craving it by then. Say, where is my Godzilla 2 sequel? Yeah. The last one was so awesome. It was way better than that garbage from the 90s.
That's the bar was low. The bar was low for them.
They're like, we want more of that. 2018, boom. Striker on
I can't
Iron
wait.
is
I
still
can't wait.
lukewarm.
They've confirmed that there's going to be like 3 new monsters in there, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously going to be they're following the whole bigger is better formula. So
that's
on a monster movie, good idea.
Works for Michael Bay.
Yeah,
works for him. So
explosion.
All right, next order of business: Power Rangers. I'm so excited right now. I'm so excited. I've never seen a Power Rangers TV show. I've never seen it. It is straight from my generation. I'm 20 years old, and I should be on this Power Rangers train, but I don't know. It just passed me up. I'm like, this isn't Batman. Change the channel. I don't know.
Batman.
So
this is not Batman.
This is not Batman. So I don't know how it passed me up, but either way, it's happening, and we got old Robbie Orci working. Or is the other one? Is it Alex Kurtzman or Robert Orci?
I don't know. You're the director guy.
Okay. Well, this movie is coming out July 22nd, 2016. It is happening. It's coming. Get ready. Buckle up. Strap in.
Here's the thing about this. This is the rundown of what is coming out, slated as of right now, to come out in July of 2016. Okay?
Right around it.
The 1st, July 1st, we're getting Independence Day 2.
Oh my goodness.
Big sequel. Doesn't matter if it's a terrible film. That's going to make a ton of money just because of name recognition and everything. Everybody
Will
wants to
Smith
see
is
that.
not returning, though.
Okay. Yeah, he's not in that one, which I'm a little disappointed, but you know what? I don't want to see his son playing Alien, so whatever.
Oh, yeah, get Jaden in there, dude.
Good grief.
Yeah.
She can whip her hair back and forth somewhere else. Okay. The daughter. Okay, so the 8th, following weekend, we got the Doctor Strange film. Probably. Not confirmed yet. But that one's going to be awesome. Another Marvel film. Possibly. We got several coming out between now and then. It's going to be riding that wave. That's going to be big.
Oh my goodness.
The 15th, you've got the Bourne Legacy 2, which I don't expect that to be huge.
Nah.
But I really liked the Bourne Legacy, the last Jeremy Renner one. I liked it.
Yeah, it's okay.
If Matt Damon comes back, it will do very well.
It will do a lot better, yeah.
That's still, we'll see.
That's up in the air. I don't think, it doesn't look like he's...
But then you've got Ice Age 5, I think it is.
My goodness.
Or 27, or whatever it is. The next Ice Age sequel is going to come out.
Pretty soon in their continuity, the Ice Age isn't going to... It's not going to be the Ice Age anymore.
Yeah. What happened to global warming? Goodness gracious. And then you've got on the 22nd... The next week, you've already got several big blockbusters, and these are just the big names. There's several other smaller ones that you'll recognize, just aren't quite as big that we didn't include. But
and then July 22nd, Power Rangers is coming out.
Power Rangers
against King Arthur.
Yeah, King Arthur. That's the Guy Ritchie version of that, and his films usually do pretty well.
He's got the Sherlock Holmes movies under his belt.
Right.
He's got Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That's
Snatch, all those. Yeah.
That's his first. That was his first big one.
But and then Apes 3 is coming out the next week, so that July is stacked with
3,
movies.
You know I'm all about that game.
They're going to have apes on horses on tanks this time. It's insane.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where that story's going to pick up. I don't even care, man. I don't even care.
I'm guessing it's going to be evolution of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know. They've already had a dawn and they've risen, so...
Yeah, so Twilight...
Not in that order.
They can pick any position of the sun right now. It's all up in the air.
It won't be sunset of the Planet of the Apes, because they've got more story to tell.
Twilight, dude. Or Eclipse. Twilight or Eclipse.
I don't know what that
Those are positions of the sun.
Yeah, but they're not times a day.
Dawn, rise.
Dawn is not a position of the sun. Dawn is like the early dawn. That's a time of the day.
Oh, okay, that's true. Okay.
Go. Plus, it's not a vampire film. The apes aren't vampires that we know of. We haven't confirmed that with Studio.
I want to see them either like fight those ships that were coming in, which wasn't in the movie, but it's in a trailer in the scene. There's a scene.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I've heard people mention that, and I'm like, I didn't see that in the movie. I don't remember it from the trailer.
It's not in the movie. It's not in the movie. It's only in the trailers. There's a scene of like them standing on the bridge.
That they filmed, obviously.
Or CG, they animated. There's like Navy ships coming towards the Golden Gate Bridge, and there's a bunch of apes standing on the bridge, and so they're getting ready to fight those guys. Well, obviously,
we've got to eventually get to the point where apes are actually in charge, and
where do you go from there? Are they gonna pick up?
Well, at some point, Charlton Heston has to come out and be like, no, when he sees the Statue of Liberty, or as we've seen earlier, it won't be Charlton Heston, it will be Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, what if they did
Mark
do that?
Wahlberg.
Yeah, dude. Eventually, it'll meet up where Mark Wahlberg enters the picture.
Sometime in the future, when movies aren't as good.
But anyway, back to what we were actually talking about. Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. Really getting going on.
Power Rangers has got some steep competition.
Go Power Rangers.
Now, I have been looking up Power Rangers a lot because of this, and I'm very intrigued. I still have yet to watch an episode. I don't want to break my streak, though, of not watching an episode. So, but from what I understand, you got this one guy named Zordon. Okay, he's like an alien, and he lives in this glass bubble, and he's just like a face. I'm being for real. This is not a joke. He lives in this glass bubble, okay? And he commissions his lackey to go find 5... I forget how they describe them.
Humans
to help him out, okay? And the person decides to get these high schoolers because it's a kids' TV show.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm assuming.
More relatable.
And so they get these superpowers, and they have like these mechs that they can combine into one big mech, and they fight basically.
Morphin' time.
They fight basically kaiju, basically the monsters from Pacific Rim. That's who they fight.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. And apparently it was like the same every episode. Like that they would be a monster, they would fight it, then it would get bigger, then they'd have to get in their mechs, and then they'd have to fight the monster all together.
My understanding was, and I don't know if this was throughout all the seasons or just the first ones, but it was basically a Japanese television show that they would take clips of.
Yes,
and
the fight scenes.
Yeah, the fight scenes, and then they would basically have the actors fill in the story in between said fight scenes.
Exactly.
It was.
So if they weren't in costume, it would be American actors.
Yeah.
And when they would change costumes, then they would just splice in the scenes from the Asian, Japanese show, and so the American actors.
Crazy.
Yeah, the American actors never actually were in the suits or filmed themselves fighting the monsters. Okay, so.
Obviously, we don't expect this to be the formula they follow on this movie.
Yeah.
They're going to change it up quite a bit, and I have a feeling they're going to be rewriting the backstory and everything. It's going to be a more Americanized tale,
and
of course.
The main villain is Rita. She's like an alien, humanoid villain. She's bad, basically. That's her character development.
Bad.
So,
Go.
What's so weird, though, is like when I first heard Zordon and Rita, I thought Zordon would be the bad guy and Rita would be like the good one that like helps him out, but it's
Hit him like a foreign sounding name.
I got nothing wrong with that, dude. I got nothing wrong with that. Purchase. Okay, so now obviously I want Mila Kunis to be Rita, and I want.
She's not a convincing baddie.
Liam, you haven't seen Oz, the Great and Powerful?
I've seen Mad Max, or not Mad Max.
Fury Road.
No, gosh.
Mad Max.
No. What was the Mark Wahlberg one?
Ted.
No, the Max Payne.
She was in that.
Yes. She tried to be the tough girl. that wanted Max Payne to help her find her sister's killer or whatever. She had like the black whip and the machine gun and everything coming in there speaking Russian, like everybody's doing what she says, and she's all of 85 pounds or whatever.
I do not remember that at all.
It's a forgettable movie.
I remember Olga Kurylenko is in that movie. The one from Oblivion.
The girl that takes her clothes off. He remembers her.
She's in Oblivion. She's in Oblivion.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
Oblivion. I mean.
Yeah, she was the sister, the disapproving sister.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
it doesn't matter. Liam Neeson should be Zordon, though. I think be good. But who knows? I don't know. I hear it was the show was a little racist, like the.
Well, just because it wasn't American made, basically. It was American adapted. So, but that's again, I think they're going to Americanize it. I'm sure they'll have, an Asian Power Ranger or Latino Power Ranger or whatever. But it won't be people, doing the Japanese thing with a English dubbed in or whatever.
Hey, dude, they took the time to film the American actors actually saying the lines. Okay, it's not like they dubbed.
Well, not on some clips, like with some of the baddies or whatever. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
That's bad. Okay, well, obviously this is a pretty crazy, way out there premise. They're just basically going off the name recognition. So I don't know. For me to get on board with this,
it's going to be as true to the original, I think, as Transformers has been.
But Transformers,
you're going to take the basic elements,
the
names and the story, and then just totally rewrite what they do.
I hope they take a lot of liberties and just change this up like so much.
They're going to have to, especially again. Look at what's coming out. It's not going to be carrying, even if it does #1 that weekend, which it may not. Even if it does #1 that weekend, it's not going to be #1 the next week.
No, for sure.
With H3,
it's got to open big.
No.
It's got to open big.
So it's got to open big, or it's got to be low budget.
Yeah, and
it'll probably be some balance in between there. It's going to have to be lower budget.
But it seems like it needs to be high on special effects though.
Yeah, and that's not easy to do cheap.
Yeah, so. Well, they probably will get a bunch of no-name actors though, young actors. Since they'll be
Sci-Fi Channel, they do special effects, and they don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, but they're made for TV also.
Sharknado.
So, anyway, all right. Next order of business, moving down sort of towards the bottom of the barrel now. There's a Betty Boop movie in development right now, and Simon Cowell, who you probably know...
Everyone's favorite lovable character from TV.
Yeah. You probably know from the hit reality show American Idol or Britain's Got Talent. One of those two, depending on where you live.
Now he's on X Factor.
Now he's on... Oh, yeah. He's on X Factor now.
X Factor. Which I think was the one he started originally before it became American Idol in the UK.
Interesting.
So it's come full circle.
Interesting fact. Okay. He's very good. He's actually really good at finding talent. He actually found that one boy band. Daniel, you're the expert on boy bands.
The encyclopedia blog. I have no idea.
The boy band that sings those songs that
Adele?
all the kids like.
Is that a boy band?
You know what I'm talking about, kids.
Obviously.
You know what I'm talking about, teens that listen to this podcast.
One of those. 98 Degrees or...
something like that.
NSYNC or one of those. Was it 98 Degrees? Wasn't that what it is?
No, that's not the name.
Wasn't there one of them, something Degrees?
Maybe from your generation, I don't know.
I don't know.
New
Kids on the Block or something? I don't know.
New Kids on the Block.
I don't know. I don't listen to that garbage. The point is, the guy's got a long list of top earning bands and performers and everything.
He's got an eye for talent.
Yeah, he does.
And he's producing this Betty Boop movie, which is going to be a how is it described? Musical themed?
It's musically driven. Is how it's described. And it's going to be one of these...
hybrid animation, live action...
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of thing, or the Smurfs
The Smurfs, maybe like the new SpongeBob movie that's coming out, if you've seen that trailer.
That actually looks pretty cool.
It looks pretty funny, yeah.
For the kid audience.
So, I have no idea what the appeal of Betty Boop is. Like, when she was popular, I have absolutely zero clue.
It's just kind of like a little... It's something... Like, I work with a lady who has a Betty Boop, like ringtone on her phone, and she has a little doll there. It's one of these things, it's a little character that people think is neat, like a Where's Waldo or a Popeye or
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, or Hello Kitty, but it's not It's not really a story, so it's definitely...
Well, she had a cartoon show in the 30s. She first appeared in 1930, and she was like a caricature of, like, kind of sort of, I guess, edgy women of the 20s that were into the jazz scene and war
very
revealing.
Sexualized for the time.
Yeah, like,
you know?
really edgy and, like, highly sexualized.
Which,
for it's pretty tame by today's standards.
Yeah, of course. But it makes me wonder, are they going to carry that out and make her, like, kind of highly sexualized storyline for modern standards? Because that'd be really pushing it.
Yeah.
Especially with the animation hybrid thing, that would be kind of difficult, I think.
Yeah,
I doubt they're going to go that way, but
yeah, who knows? What I'm like most wondering is like, what's the audience for a Betty Boop movie?
Yeah, what's the target demographic?
Yeah, because the people that there's not a lot of people that were alive when that was popular.
The 90-year-olds aren't going to be coming out being like, "Give me my ticket."
Oh, Betty Boop, yeah, look at that.
From my childhood.
But so it's half animated, half live action. So it's like, are kids going to be into this? Because it's animated, or are adults, like middle-aged people, going to be going out to see this?
It falls into a weird place.
Yeah, and then you get this whole musical element, which usually music skews younger, like tweens and teens.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it says musically driven. I guess maybe I don't know if in the cartoon she was a singer, but I'm guessing she's going to be the one singing in this movie.
Given that it's Simon Cowell's.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of music. Yeah.
I get the feeling that basically this is going to be one of those. He's going to be putting in songs and performances of the artists on his label to do some basically advertising for his properties.
And she's going to be like,
she's just going to be kind of the vehicle. That's going to be the vehicle to showcase these. You know what I mean? Like, she'll be a performer competing with his different guys on who wins and all this kind of... It could be something like that.
But my goodness, you think this is just going to be like a 90-minute ad for Simon Cowell's record label?
Well, I mean, how many other movies has he done? I'm not aware of any.
I don't think he's done any. Yeah. I think he's all on TV.
He's
reality
strictly...
TV.
Well, and he's strictly in the music business, as far as I know. I think he's like invested in a few other properties, but he doesn't he's not like producer. So it's really, it's just an odd piece of news. Yeah. You know what I mean? It would be like, this would kind of be like if, Mia Hamm, the, U.S. soccer player on the women's Olympic team, or World Cup team, it'd be like Mia Hamm coming out and saying, I'm starting... It'd be like her saying, I'm starting a music record label and I'm going to produce music for people. It's just like that's sports. Not in your wheelhouse at all. Like, you could have some athletes become rappers, but that doesn't mean you're qualified. I mean, it's a very weird crossover.
Well, I think music and movies are a little more similar than sports and music.
It was a stretch. It was an exaggerated example.
Yeah, but I see what you're going for there. But yeah, I'm sure with the right creative team behind this, you can make a movie that's going to be that's going to appeal to somebody. I don't know who they're trying to capture here. I'm guessing. Okay, Simon Cowell. He has boy bands and artists. So I'm thinking he's going to try to capture the teen girl market. I'm thinking. Because this is obviously a female-led movie. And another thing, like, it's following in the vein of Roger Rabbit and that Brad Pitt movie Cool World, which was also a live-action animation.
Which was a little edgy also.
That was like full-on, yeah. That was like
full edgy.
All edge.
Oh, yeah.
That was all edge. Which, it's not like those movies are, like, extremely popular or anything. It's not like that really took off. There's only a handful of movies that are actually doing this. Is the animated aspect? Is she going to be a regular person to the characters and to the human characters, or is she going to be like some kind of a trans-dimensional being that like gets transported from her world into the real world or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe she's still a cartoon from the 30s and she's never aged. And she's just an ageless cartoon.
Where is she at though? She's like
in our world. She's just out of work now. Because it's not the 30s and she's still black and white.
But you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like the chipmunks, those are actually talking chipmunks. And so...
Which makes sense.
No, I'm just saying like they're not they're animated, but they're an actual thing in that world.
They're presented as a real
squirrel,
creature.
as a
Yeah,
real squirrel.
I got you.
The Smurfs, they get I've never seen that movie, but they get transported from their world into the human world somehow. I don't know how, and then they meet up with that one blonde guy.
I'll be honest, I could care less about this film, but I'd have to work at it.
Anyway,
Sorry, Simon.
It's interesting because it's just weird. That's why. So anyway, I don't know. Tell us what you think about that one. That's a kind of a weird one. Okay, next order of business. Bad Boys 3 is definitely maybe on the way. Martin Lawrence is like...
He felt pretty confident going out on the talk show.
He was like, hey, Bad Boys 3, that might happen.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, sometime in the future. Who knows? But, I'm sure Martin Lawrence wants it to happen.
Well, and this is not the first time we've heard it teased and said, oh, yeah, we're working on something, so-and-so and all the parties involved want it to happen. Yeah, they want it to happen. Whether or not it will, we'll see.
I don't know if they want it to happen more than they want other movies to happen.
The way that he said it seemed... He presented it in such a way that it appeared that he had some particular inside knowledge that it was more likely than just mere rumor. But it's not something I would bet your child's college fund on.
When Bad Boys 1 and 2 came out, Martin Lawrence was like pretty hot, and he kind of fizzled out. I think he's on a show on FX right now.
Yeah, with Kelsey Grammer.
It's comedy, right?
Yeah, Partners, I think it is, or some, Law Partners or something.
Either way, he's not on top right now by any means. So
no, I mean he's just kind of moving along and just doing stuff, but he's not an A-list.
Yeah, he's definitely not where
movie
Will Smith
star or anything.
Yeah, his career trajectory didn't follow Will Smith's.
It didn't, but then again, Will Smith the last few years hasn't been knocking him out of the park. The last one he was in was After Earth, and that did not do well at all.
Well, he got sidelined with trying to promote his kids' careers.
Yeah, and
which I guess is, it's a good investment. He loves his kids, I guess. But
it's a package deal with them. You hire Will, you're gonna get the other Smiths.
You gotta get another Smith in there somewhere. So hey, Bad Boys 3 Legacy. His son and daughter want to be cops.
I think I would enjoy watching a Bad Boys 3. The first two I think were fun and everything.
Yeah.
It would be cool to go back to that. Both of them are still young enough to where you could have them doing some of that action and it would be believable. It's not like you're getting Harrison Ford back in there or something like
oh my goodness, Harrison Ford's done.
But boy, he can walk away. He can nail that shot. But I mean, they're young enough to do that without having to say, okay, in Bad Boys 3, they're now the retired cops and it's a new younger guy. They don't have to do that. They can still be
the stars of the movie.
Will and Martin being the stars and everything, and the captain and all that.
But will they get Michael Bay back though? I don't think so.
It would take. He's let's be honest. He's busy these days, and he would be. It would have to be a lot of kind of coordination with the timing and everything. I think it will happen. I don't know how soon it'll happen.
I think he might produce the movie, but I don't think he would direct it. I doubt he would direct it.
Yeah, that's
Transformers 4 is about to make $1 billion. The studio wants him to make Transformers 5. Which he doesn't even have to do that. What I'm saying is he can do whatever he wants right at this point. He's got his pick of the litter, so I don't know if he wants to retread old ground when he can like break open a fresh new can of movies-ness. You know what I'm saying?
Fresh new can of Transformers 5.
No.
What?
Guillermo del Toro needs to get on Transformers 5.
No, gosh, no. Because that'll cost $1 billion to make.
That would be so awesome, though, dude. That would be good.
No, he needs to do...
Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah, Pac Rim 2.
Anyway, I don't think he'll be back, so Bad Boys 3, I'm going to say, is not happening anytime soon. Maybe sometime later. And in our number, the next... there's no numbers here. No
Why
numbers.
Are we talking about that?
It's all backstage stuff.
Oh, the sequel got announced?
Which one?
Teenage
Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming to us again. out of the shells. Hey, I was at Schlitterbahn this weekend, and there were water slides, and for some reason in TMNT, the sewers are like water slides in their version
nice
of New York. Yeah.
Where's it going?
There's a scene. This is not a spoiler, but there's a scene of like them going to their lair, and like the sewers are like steeply angled down, and they're like splish flashing around.
Yes.
Gliding on their
shells.
Their shells. Yeah, it's like that's no. Anyway,
I'm not sure what city they were in, but apparently level piping never happened.
They're in the.
There were no right angles. There were always swooping.
They're in the New York that was designed by the really fun plumbers. Like, let's try something different, guys. Let's make these slanted, you know?
Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I did not, however, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we got. You can watch my review of that here, unless you're listening by audio, which you can't. Click over to my YouTube channel, Josiah Sandu. Anyway, so the sequel is coming. This was announced shortly after. This was like the Sunday of the opening weekend that we're getting a second one. So I'm pretty excited because, not because I like the first one, but because more Ninja Turtles means the potential for a better Ninja Turtles movie. You see what I'm saying? I'm an optimist.
Yeah. I mean...
Cup is half full here.
I would doubt that they would make another one and make it worse than this.
So, yeah.
So,
the
yeah,
bar's
that's
pretty low.
positive.
More optimism. I like it.
Initially, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible news,
bad.
because it wasn't a great movie. It made a bunch of money, so they thought, great, let's make more of this. And unfortunately, that's what usually happens.
Maybe they'll learn from their mistakes.
We hope so, but normally, you know, people, when you buy tickets, when you support a movie, you're voting with your dollars, and you're giving that, you know, studio execs take that as a sign of approval.
Yeah.
You know, this is a stamp of approval. We made X number of millions of dollars, therefore they liked it. So let's give them more of that.
Do you think producers ever read reviews of movies though?
I'm sure they do, and I'm sure that takes into account, and it will almost certainly influence what direction they go with the next one.
It was
but
kind of mixed on the audience reviews too.
Yeah, the more successful it is, even if the reviews are terrible, if it makes gangbuster money, they're going to be
more hesitant to make changes.
Exactly, to depart from that model that they went with. So I hope, you know, knowing that they are going to go ahead and go forward with a second one, I hope they make some changes, make it a little more grown up, not quite as silly.
Hey, well, to your point,
swap out April O'Neil.
That ship has sailed, dude. Megan Fox is April O'Neil at this point.
She is Megan Fox in an April O'Neil costume.
There's no going back on that. There's absolutely zero going back on that.
They won't change,
but here, to your point, I think their model is okay. I think it's an adequate model.
The execution was just
the execution was really poor, because I mean the turtles were pretty fun. I wanted more of them. I want them to be the main characters also.
Sure. Get
that right. But also, you know, Megan Fox, I think maybe she could pull this off. I don't know. I think she could pull off a believable April O'Neil.
Still think she's an actor.
But I think, most importantly, though, what we need to do is we need to get Jonathan Liebsman out of the director's chair, and we need to get somebody else that's a little bit more... I mean, anyone could surprise you and make a great movie. I mean, look at the Russo brothers.
Well, a lot of the problems with this first one was the quote origin story and how they made those changes. Well, we won't be dealing with that in the second one.
I don't know who wrote that, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's a spoiler, so I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. But they changed up the origin stories, if you know, in a bad way. I don't mind changes, just as long as they're good
or somewhat logical.
Yeah, this was just ridiculous. But anyway. Who would I like to see direct this movie? Couple options. Well, actually, my number one pick, Chris Miller and Phil Lord. You might know them from such entries as 22 Jump Street, The Lego Movie, 21 Jump Street. Both of those. They have great comedy, and I think like they could write some great dialogue for the Turtles. I don't know. You've seen The Lego Movie, right?
Yes.
Have you seen any of the Jump Street movies?
we seriously got to wrap this up. I can barely speak right now. My throat is on fire.
You want some water?
No, I need to go home.
Okay.
Plus, it's like already after midnight. We've been talking for like 2 hours.
Dang.
Yeah, seriously,
good at
like,
this.
I'm, like, in a lot of pain right now. We need to hurry. We need to talk faster.
Okay.
What was your question?
How do you feel about those
The
two guys
Lego
directing?
movie. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with either one of those. You know, they're just, it's gonna have to, they're gonna have to adjust the tone, is the main issue with that. So we'll see what happens. There's gonna be a lot of time between now and then. We'll probably find out in the next few months who signed on to it and whatnot. And
All I'm saying is let's get some better talent behind the camera. And I think you got, it was darker visually, but I think it was they were still going for like a funner, like, feel, even though like it
Funner.
looked, yeah. It looked darker. It was visually darker than any Ninja Turtles movie I've ever seen, but they were still trying to go for that fun turtle vibe. So I think they can keep that just with better execution, keep that model. I think they got a pretty good shot at making a better Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
Okay, and our last order of business is that the Star Trek 3 script is complete. Roberto Orci is directing. This is his very first movie that he's ever directed in his entire life.
Or he's gonna direct. He hasn't directed yet.
He just finished the script. He did write Star Trek. With his buddy Alex Kurtzman, he wrote Star Trek 1, Star Trek 2. I'm thinking he partially wrote Star Trek 3, and he's gonna direct it. And this is his first movie ever, so you know how studios like to really help new talent and give them chances, and
just throw piles of money at unproven people.
So it's always great. See, now, since he's never directed a movie, he doesn't have any bad habits, so they don't have to retrain him, It's like, when you get someone, like when you hire someone at a new job, you don't want them to have any bad habits from their past experience. So this guy's got a clean slate, and the studio can just have their way with him, So, I think this is pretty unsettling news for me, at least. But the script is complete, and I don't. If there's any Star Trek fans out there, I hope you're more optimistic than I am. I don't know. I hope it's a good movie. I think with the production value and stuff, there's like it can't get any. It won't be any worse. It won't be like super terrible or anything.
I mean, what'd you think of the first two?
I loved them. I thought they were great. I loved both of them.
I liked them. I mean, some people had complaints about, whether or not how much it departed from the series and everything, and you're always going to have that element of the fan base.
I don't care about that. Give me a fun movie.
I thought they were both really good, and knowing that the writing and everything is going to be consistent with what he did on the first two. So I think it's great. Until we see the first trailer, it's hard to really judge it, but we know that the script is done, so we're just that much closer to having the next
starting actually production.
Yeah.
Once we get the first trailer, we'll know exactly how much lens flares we're gonna get.
I was about to say that.
Will he go no lens flares? We don't know. This is first direct. We don't have anything.
Visually, it might go a little differently.
Who knows? Will he get rid of the lens flares completely?
Who produced the last ones?
Produced?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm thinking the same producers are going to produce.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's the same producers and the same cinematographers, then
it's probably going to look similar.
Yeah, it'll still
and it's the same writer, so it's going to be very similar.
Yeah.
It's going to be so similar. Hopefully, I don't know, man. Hopefully, I hope they bring in like some more Klingon action.
Awesome. If Chris Pine and Zach Quinto are coming back as the main guys,
sure
they know their role, they know the part, they know that character that
Audiences
they're portraying.
know their role too.
Even if he's not the strongest director in the world, these guys are professionals. They've done this before a couple of times already, so this is a safe choice to throw a relatively amateur guy into the director's chair. So I'm not too worried about that.
I guess it's not as big as a risk as I am thinking it is, because you've got all this other support going on around him. But man, who knows? I don't know. Star Trek or Star Wars for you?
I actually enjoyed the Star Trek films more than the Star Wars ones, but I'm definitely looking forward to Star Wars, and that's the next one coming out. So that's the one I'm most looking forward to right now. Once I see it, I may have
different
night
feelings.
terrors, like I did back when the prequels came out, and be like, oh dear heavens, don't make me sit through another 6 years of this.
The third one was pretty good.
So anyway,
Episode 3.
Star Trek.
Anyway, I like the Star Trek universe better. I think the Star Wars characters are more interesting though.
Right.
That's just me. I don't know. Yeah, so that'll do it for this entry, our very first #1 podcast. My throat hurts like crazy. His throat hurts like crazy for some reason. I don't know why. I was screaming at Schlitterbahn all weekend.
I lost my voice this weekend, so forgive me.
Yeah, 2 totally different things happened to our throats. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.